Make sure we're getting our title down. Our title is How Can I Show a Fraction? That is your title on the next blank page. I want you to circle that word show. There are some synonyms to the word show that we have probably seen before or that you will likely see. What's another word that you might see that would mean the same thing as show? How can I a fraction? Kayla, what are you thinking? Channel. Channel is going to be more like sending good vibes, like I'm channeling something.
No, like a TV show.
Oh, I got it. Wrong version of show. That show is a noun, it's a thing, right? I'm watching a TV show. This is an action. How do I show a fraction? Good, tricky, multi-meaning word. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. The show that Kaden was thinking about, that you might have been thinking about, was a TV show. That's a thing. That's not quite the same version in this sentence. Jalen, what do you think?
I think another word for show could be reveal.
Reveal. How can I reveal a fraction? Sure. I'm not mad at that. What do you think, Colby?
Example.
How can I example a fraction? That becomes kind of like a noun again. It's a thing, right? Heidi, what do you think?
Present.
How can I present a fraction? Sure. Rylan, what are you thinking? Gee, it'd be helpful if you were paying attention. Still thinking?
Yeah.
Okay, Zach?
How can I tell?
Put that in your book bag. A word that you're going to see a lot. Model. That better not be in your pocket. Great. Fantastic. How can I model? So the word model and show are going to show up as synonyms. Madison McKinsey, no thank you. First way we can model a fraction is by writing it in number 4. Right? Okay, so we've got, let's say, 1. Then we have this line. Sometimes the line is completely horizontal. Sometimes it's slash. Both are fine. Just like with division, we had those 2 different symbols. That's fine. And then we have another number here. So far, so good? Yeah. What is this part called? If you don't know, you are looking in your notebook. You are either raising your hand or looking in your notebook because you are going to find the answer to that question. What is that top portion called? John?
I know it's called the whole.
Nope, not called the whole. Gio, what's it called? It is called the numerator. I am writing, you are writing.
It's called denominator, right?
The numerator tells me what? It is called the numerator, but what information am I getting from that part of that number? Other than it looks really cool. What is that numerator telling me? It tells me something about that number. Macklin, what's that numerator telling me?
How much has been basically used or filled in?
Yeah. How many pieces or parts? Could be that we're using, could be that I'm eating, could be that I am counting. How many pieces or parts? So in this example, because there's a 1 there, how many parts am I using? Not a trick question, everybody. 1. John, what do you need?
I already know when that
Wait, we're not on another one. I don't
want.
want you to tell me the other one. I want you to write down what I've written down so far because you haven't done any of that.
I remember.
All right, let's talk about this portion of my number.
How's that supposed to say?
I am aware. What is that portion called? Get out of your desk. Get out of your desk. Bryson. Denominator. I'm writing, you're writing. Denominator. What kind of information do I get from my denominator? It's telling me some stuff. What kind of info am I getting from that denominator? You're not sitting there doing nothing. You're either raising your hand or you're trying to figure it out. What kind of information do I get from my denominator? Madison?
How much the product or the total?
You're on the right track, but we've got kind of the wrong words in there. Zach?
How much? Is how many things are in the group?
Not in each group. You're on the right track. Mackenzie doing nothing's not going to help you figure it out. Sit down. Keegan?
How many pieces there?
Close. We're missing one really important word. Ariana?
How many pieces are in a
In the hole. We need that word. How many total pieces? You could also write parts. Those are synonyms. In the hole. How many total pieces or parts are in the hole? I don't know why you're not writing. How many in a hole? That's not what I wrote. Please write down what I wrote. Mackenzie, you got this written down? This is also what you're counting by. So if I'm counting by 6, I'm going to say 1, 6, 2, 6, red 6, blue 6. Just kidding. You're going to count though. That's the name of what I'm counting. Just like if I'm counting puppies. 1 puppy, 2 puppy, 3 puppy. 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6. That's the thing I'm counting. Because a 6 size piece is a very specific size. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We're going to think about that a little bit more today, so if you're still kind of confused, that's okay. We're going to talk about one more piece that we haven't talked about, which is this line right here. That line has a specific name. It's called a fraction bar. It's called a fraction bar. It's actually the same bar that we use in another symbol. This would be a really great time to practice raising your hand instead of yelling out. It is division. I want you to look at that fraction that I just wrote, and then imagine the numbers are dots. Can you see it? It's a division symbol. No, it is not an equal sign. It's absolutely not an equal sign. But it is division because watch this. One whole shared with 6 friends. Can you picture what that looks like? One thing shared with 6 friends. It's going to be broken up into 6 parts. So you've actually been playing with fractions a lot longer than you knew. You're welcome. Every time you were dividing is technically be a fraction that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? Like if I said 12 divided by 2, 12 halves. Not gonna make a whole lot of sense, but it is a fraction. All right, so let's talk about our model. So far we've just written it in number form. The first model, you can make this your subtitle. Circle model, that's your subtitle. Circle model. And then I would like you to draw 2 circles. They do not need to be huge. They do not need to be huge. Circle models make me feel like this. They are not my favorite models. Mostly because we know that fraction pieces have to be equal, and it's hard to draw equal pieces on a circle. No, thank you. It wasn't a question. It wasn't a question. So I don't really like circle models because it can get hard to draw equal size pieces. So if you have an opportunity to draw a fraction, I do not recommend a circle model. Can you? Sure. It's just harder. If the denominator, if what I'm cutting my piece into is even, like 8s, I'm going to cut this into 8s. Colby, look alive. A trick I can do is I can cut it in half first. Now, how many pieces need to go on each side to give me a total of 8? This is not a trick question. How many pieces need to go on each half to give me a total of 8? Sit up, please. Sit up, please. Mackenzie? 4. So I can go ahead and put 4 on this side.
Oh, I see that.
And then I can do 4 on the other side. Great. I have a total of 8 pieces that are equal-ish.
What are we going to do with the air circle?
You haven't even done this yet, Sam. Now this is where it gets tricky. 6. Because a lot of you will go, oh, I'll just split it in half, and then I'll just make an X. Ooh, that was a really terrible X. They will not be equal sized. So it's much harder to get them equal sized. So what I like to do is I like to split it in half because I have that even number here. And then because I have 6, I know I'm going to have 3 pieces on each side.
It's the same strategy, right?
It is a similar strategy, but it's harder to make those pieces equal. That's why I'm not a big fan of circle models. So you should have one.
Speaking of Madison.
Yep. You should have one model that's broken into 8s. You should have another model broken into 6. Now, let's say that I ate about 4 8s. Color in this fraction model so it shows 4 8s. Give me a secret thumb when you're done. Shade in this fraction model so it shows 4 8s. Give me a secret thumb when you're done. Secret thumbs are not in the air. A lot of you colored all 4 pieces touching each other. Did you do that?
Yeah.
Could I do this?
Yes.
Could I do that? Are you sure? So that a lot of you ended up with something that probably, oh geez, that looks terrible. Round 2. You do not need to draw this because most of you have this already.
It's so hard to think of a perfect circle, right?
It is so hard. It's even harder when your smartboard doesn't want to work. A lot of you had something like that. Give me a Me2 signal if you had something very similar to that. Fantastic. Is that 4/8?
Yes.
But it doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like that. Pretend they're the exact same size. I know that they're drawn very poorly, but pretend they are exactly the same size. How do you know? Because they definitely don't look the same.
How do you know that's 4/8? They don't look the same, but you just told me they both were 4/8. Like, how is that possible? Rylan, how is that possible?
It's possible because you're still using 4, but you just took different slices.
So does it matter if I take different slices?
No, like
If only we had some words to describe this.
Like,
what is it called if something doesn't look the same? Evelyn? It's not commutative property. But think back to what it is. Yep. Bryson, what are you thinking?
distributive
Oh,
property.
no. We're not breaking anything apart. They're equal. They're equal. What does it mean to be equal? Think way back in your brain when we talked about the equal sign. Sit down, please. There is a poster on the wall talking about the equal sign. What does it mean to be equal? Heidi, what does that mean to be equal?
It means like to not look the same, but still be the same.
There's a word in there, not the same. You remember that word that we used, Gio?
Value.
They have the same value. They have the same worth. Do these two models look the same?
No.
Macklin, sit up. Are they worth the same?
Yes.
Does it matter if I eat my pizzas, random pieces at a time, or all on one side? Still pizza. No. All right, you're 6. I want you to color in 3/6. Give me a secret sum when you're done. Give me Me2 signal if you made all of your 3/6 pieces touch. Sit up. Could you make all 3/6 touch?
Yes.
Could you make them random?
No.
Why? Why? I saw Heidi had some crazy thing that looked like this. I'm sure some of you don't have that. Well, how? How is that working? How is it that Heidi is drawing something different than Rylan, who's doing something different than Mackenzie? How is that happening, Zach?
Because they're equal.
They're equal. What does that mean to be equal? Because I thought equal meant the same. It does, those don't look the same. So how are they equal, Jalen? How are they equal? It'd probably be helpful if you're paying attention. Bryson, how are they equal?
Because they have the same. Because they have the same value.
They have the same value. They have the same worth. Do they have to look the same?
No.
No, they don't have to look the same. But do they have to be worth the same?
Yeah.
All right. Next page, or if you have space underneath, this will be your new subtitle. Bar model. That is either your subtitle or your next title, depending on what you've got space for. Bar models. This is how I feel about them. Mostly because it's way easier to make those equal size pieces that we need for fractions. I want you to draw 4 bar models.
3 of them are going to be rectangles. 1 of them needs to be a square. Again, they do not need to be huge. But go ahead and draw 3 rectangle bar models and then 1 square bar model, please.
So one of them is there.
There. If I'm breaking all of these models into fourths, have that written down. How many pieces are you expecting each model to have? This is a great time to practice raising your hand. If I'm breaking all of these models into fourths, how many pieces will each model have? Mackenzie? I've said the question twice now. Please pay attention. If I'm breaking these models into fourths, how many pieces will each model have? 4. That's what I'm counting. I'm counting fourths. One way that I like to break up my model, I like to, because 4 is an even number, I like to split it in half. And then I'd like to split these in half. Now I have 4 equal sized pieces. No thank you, no thank you, no thank you. Sit up. I can also go this way. I like to start in half, and then half of a half, and half of a half. So far, so good?
Yeah, like the fourths.
They are still fourths. I could also do this one. Start with my half. Maybe, come on now. And then go this way. Are those 4 equal sized pieces? Yeah. Does anyone think they know how to do the square? It is not any of the 3 that I have done. Anyone know how I would cut that square up into 4 equal sized pieces, not using any of the same cuts that I just did? You might have seen this before, Zach.
You could do an X.
I can do an X. What shape will my pieces be when I make that X?
A triangle.
Triangles, yeah. All of these are broken into fourths. Count with me. Ready? 1 fourth, 2 fourths, 3 fourths, 4 fourths. 1 fourth, 2 fourths, 3 fourths, 4 fourths. 1 fourth, 2 fourths, 3 fourths, 4 fourths. Gee, it's much easier to count if you look at what you're counting. Make each model show 2 fourths. Give me a secret thumb when you're done. Make each model show 2 fourths. Give me a secret thumb when you're done. Is it okay if you and your table partner don't color in the same boxes? Why? Why? I asked you to make the same fraction. Why aren't y'all coloring in the same boxes? Jalen?
Because it doesn't have to look the same, it just has to be the same color.
Beautiful. In fraction land, and you will talk about this a lot, but I'm going to go ahead and say the word because you might see it if you're doing the freckle fraction challenge. The word that you will see is called equivalent. Do you hear the word equal and equivalent?
Yes.
Yeah. If something is equivalent, you're saying, hey, they don't look the same, but they have the same value. All right, we have one more model. You can either do subtitle or next blank page. You choose what's in your notebook. And it is a number line. We know that fractions live on a number line. Where? Where are they on a number line? Because y'all been playing with number lines since kindergarten. You never seen no fractions on those number lines. So where are they? Where are those fractions on that number line? Ariana? Between the whole numbers, right? Draw a number line, pink line to pink line. Trace the very straight line that is already printed on your paper.
we know there are fractions in between 0 and 1. Go ahead and label your number line between 0 and 1.
I don't remember this.
You haven't learned it. That's why you don't remember it.
I don't remember all these numbers past 0.
Let's pretend I want to show 1/2. How many parts need to go if I'm going to show 1/2? How many parts do I need to draw? Think back to which part of that number tells you how many parts are in your whole. I'm going to place the number 1/2. How many parts do I need in a whole to show 1/2? Ready?
2.
I need 2 parts. I need 2 halves, right? I know that if I split this in the middle, I have those 2 halves. 1/2 is right here. There's my 1 part. And my other part is over here. Yes, please. Does that make sense? However, if I'm jumping forward 1/2, I might start at 0 and jump just this part. I only jumped 1 part out of the 2 parts it would take me to get to 1 whole. Bryson, I'm doing a whole lot of writing for you to be doing nothing. Number lines can be tricky, so if you're still a little confused today, that is okay. You're going to spend a lot of time working with them. Draw another number line. And this next number line, again, we're going to label 0 to 1. Can I have fractions past 1?
Yeah.
Yes. For right now, we're just going to live between 0 and 1. But yes, my fractions can keep going. They're between any number. So far, so good?
Yeah.
Let's pretend I wanted to break this number line into fourths. How many pieces do I need? I'm going to break this number line into fourths. How many pieces do I need? Macklin?
4.
I need 4 pieces, 1 for each fourth. I'm going to start with my half. How many pieces do I have right now? 2. 1 is right here, and 1 is right here. But I need 4. Half of a half, half of a half.
That's a half of a. Is that the middle between?
Yeah.
So like if you like 50, like you're 0 and try to get the 150 will be the middle.
All right, count fourths with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you noticing that I'm not counting the lines? What am I counting? I am not counting the lines. What am I counting? Colby? The space. The space is what I'm counting. That's the chunk I want. Colby? Sure. Quarter and fourth are synonyms. They will both work the same. Yes. All right, count with me. I want to get to 3/4 on this number line. Start at 0. If I do 1 jump, where am I now? 1/4. What if I do another jump? Where am I at now? Do you see my 2 jumps? What if I do another jump? Don't do that. So far, so good? What if I wanted to do another jump? What would be this number? Yes, it's 1.
But could I call it something else? Is there another name for it? Bryson?
4/4.
4/4. I could do a fourth jump and get to 4/4. Is 4/4 the same thing as 1?
Yes.
Oh.
No.
Kind of.
It doesn't.
No.
Yes.
Those do not look the same.
It would be
That
four.
sounds like a whole lot more words than just saying 1.
But
No.
it's the same value.
It's the same value. Is it the same thing?
No.
No, not the same thing. Is it worth the same?
Yes.
Is having 4/4 worth the same
Yes.
as $1? Does it feel the same?
No.
Does it smell the same?
No.
Does it taste the same?
I wish.
It's good.
Gross.
I don't even know what one would taste.
Is it worth the same?
Yes.
Yes. All right, friends.